back to GeeKlassic, the series of reviews where I look back at films that came out before my channel ever existed and I haven't had a chance to review yet. And with Toy Story 4 just around the corner coming out this Friday, I thought it was the perfect time to look back on the first Pixar film, Toy Story. And what is there to say that hasn't been said yet? Everyone loves Toy Story, everyone knows Toy Story, so it isn't really necessary for me to give you a spoiler alert like I usually do in these reviews, even though I just did that. Toy Story tells the story of Andy's toys, who are basically led by Woody, who sees his authority and leadership threatened once Andy receives a new toy on his birthday called Buzz Lightyear. A brand new figure with top-notch technology inserted into it, and Woody sees his leadership and the love of Andy for him challenged by the presence of this new toy who everyone just suddenly and instantly admires. Now, of course, this is a story about the toys themselves coming to life, and again, everyone loves this film because it's a great story of friendship, a great story of love, and a great story about not necessarily being able to reach your dreams, but you'll find a much higher purpose. And I love this dichotomy in the film where Buzz wants to be something, wants to be a spaceman and flies, and he believes that, and Woody shows him that he is meant to be loved by someone else, while at the same time Woody sees himself unable to share the love that he receives from Andy with someone else. And there are so many great scenes in Toy Story that just brings the emotion up to an ante, be it laughs or tears. It's pure raw emotion throughout. I love the beginning of the film where Woody basically takes out a stakeout mission to see what Andy gets, and you have the soldiers doing real military operations, and then he gets Buzz, and he comes into the room, and it almost feels like they're presenting this Terminator-like figure to the other toys, and everyone just instantly loves him. Woody is not the guy anymore. This dude is the guy. I love the bitter banter between them. They just go back and forth really, really well together. And that is very much due to Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, who provide the voices for Woody and Buzz respectively. These two guys, they just feel like they're in the room together, and not them, the actors, just they embody these characters so well. Who doesn't love the scene where Woody just suddenly bursts out at Buzz?
Right now, poised at the edge of the galaxy, Emperor Zurg has been secretly building a weapon with the destructive capacity to annihilate an entire planet. I alone have information that reveals this weapon's only weakness. And you, my friend, are responsible for delaying my rendezvous with Star Command.
You are a toy! You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you're an action figure! You are a child's plaything!
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
And immediately after that, they get lost in this arcade at Pizza Planet, and Buzz goes into this claw machine, and he suddenly gets adored by all these alien toys, these squishy alien toys who are about to be picked up by the claw, which, by the way, is the only thing I have to call bullshit on Toy Story, because the claw never grabs anything. So it's impossible that it grabbed Buzz, plus 3 of those squishy aliens. And after Buzz and the aliens get grabbed, he is grabbed by Sid, who is a neighbor of Andy, and he's just a perfect villain for a film about toys coming to life. He basically mutilates his toys and makes new modified versions of 2 beings into one. They're all just come across as mutants, as rejects, but they find love when Woody comes around and they're prepared to take revenge, let's say, on Sid. And while they're at the house, there's this beautiful scene where Buzz is mad at Woody, and he comes across this TV, and suddenly there's an ad for the Buzz Lightyear toy coming, and he sees it, and he finds out, and suddenly it falls onto him that, yeah, you are a toy, you cannot fly. And I love this moment, this entire moment with Randy Newman's song. It's just so beautiful and so devastating when Buzz tries to fly into the window and just falls and breaks his arm. I never cried with Toy Story when I was a kid, and I could tell infinite stories about me growing up as a kid, as a teenager, watching Toy Story and loving it. I just rewatched it for this review. It's a heartbreaking moment, but it leads into one of the most hilarious moments of this entire film. of the entire trilogy, perhaps. And it's when Sid's sister finds Buzz, takes him to her room, and puts together a tea party and dresses Buzz in an apron and a little hat and calls him Mrs. Nesbit. And Buzz, since he feels he has no purpose, he starts acting out like Mrs. Nesbit. And it's some of the most hilarious material in the entire film. I haven't researched on this particular topic because I kind of like it to be a mystery, but I wouldn't doubt if I found out that Tim Allen improvised most of the Mrs. Nesbit dialogue. Nesbit, not Nisbet. And there's a scene where Andy's toys are seeing Woody and Buzz from across the street with these binoculars, and it feels like Woody threw Buzz off a table, and for toys, the table is pretty high, so they feel like Woody killed Buzz. Some of the most hilarious material is still pretty emotional in this film. And Andy is about to move out the next day, but together, after confronting Sid with Sid's toys and scaring the crap out of Sid for his entire life, traumatizing him, or at least not so much as we see in a future Toy Story film, Woody and Buzz get the remote control out of its box and go on it after the moving truck. It's just an amazing sequence, and finally they just shoot off of this rocket that Buzz still had attached to him because Sid was going to freaking launch Buzz into outer space and just let him fall somewhere random. And when they take off in this rocket, they're about to hit the truck, but Buzz keeps moving forward and he goes into the car because Andy, he was not in a moving truck, he was in his own car with his mother and his sister, really sad that he didn't have Woody and Buzz and was afraid he wouldn't have them at the new house.
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
Which is one of the best quotes and one of the most emotional ones in this entire film that brings these characters together. Let me just say that the animation still holds up beautifully. It's staggering to see this animation from 1995 still looking as beautiful as and pristine as it did back then still does today. I just said all these things and I understand that I didn't say anything particularly new about Toy Story, nothing that you didn't already know. It's just a beautiful movie with a beautiful message about accepting love that you have to give and love that you have to share with someone else, and you can practically put that in any other story or setting. Toy Story is the quintessential Pixar film. It was the first one, it was the one that put him on the map, and it was a huge risk gambling out into 3D animation, especially at that time. It's got beautiful characters, a beautiful story, a story and characters that you can invest to and sink your teeth into, and it's got no parallels. I'm giving Toy Story an A+. Now guys, what did you think of Toy Story? What are some of your best memories with Toy Story? Be it with the film itself, with toys you got growing up, with some of the playthings you did with your own toys, even if they weren't toys from Toy Story. Let me know in the comments below, and look out for the next few days until Friday, or I'll put up my reviews for Toy Story 2 yesterday and Toy Story 3 before Toy Story 4. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully, I hope to see you there. So until then, stay beautiful, stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button, click the bell, so you can be geeky united.